What's this? A letter for me.
Welcome to another episode of Remember the Great Sports Through the Mail Thursdays. I'm going to share with you some recent through the mail autographs that I got back in the mail and profile each of the individuals that recently signed for me. This episode is going to be a little bit unique. I'm not going to tell you how unique until I get to that point of the video, so just stay with me there and I'll point it out when we get to that player. But we're going to get to the first player here, and it is returned from California. And it is a return on 1, 2, and a third from Mr. Bill Wakefield of the New York Mets. And Mr. Wakefield, I only had these 3 cards. I picked these up at a card show a little while back with the intention on trying to get Jerry Hensley and Bill Wakefield to sign it. So I'm happy to say that Mr. Wakefield has returned the first half of the card. So let me tell you about Bill Wakefield and his career in baseball. Bill Wakefield grew up in the Kansas City, Missouri area, where he attended high school in Kansas City, Missouri. He actually worked for the Kansas City A's as a child. The St. Louis Cardinals and the Baltimore Orioles pursued Bill while he was in high school, and he ultimately decided to sign with the St. Louis Cardinals in his home state. And a big reason that he chose to go to the Cardinals was that the Cardinals agreed to allow him to attend college during the off season. It was very important to Bill's parents. He grew up the son of a doctor, and it was very important, the value of the education over playing professional sports. So the St. Louis Cardinals agreed to the terms of that contract of Bill signing with them, and he actually attended Stanford University in California as a student. Because he signed his professional contract with the Cardinals, he was not eligible to play for the Stanford Cardinal, ironically Cardinals Cardinal, and instead he started his professional career in baseball at the age of 20 years old, pitching for the Cardinals A affiliate. Well, in 1961, he posted a 9-11 record in 29 games for the Cardinals single A affiliate. In 1962, he was promoted to Double A, where he posted a 10-12 record, and in 1963, he was promoted from Double A. He spent time in Double A and Triple A and posted a 4-10 record. At this point, the Cardinals had moved him to the bullpen, where he spent the majority of his relief outings as a pitcher. While still attending college, the St. Louis Cardinals, in the offseason of November 1963, decided to trade Bill to the new New York Mets. The Mets were then managed by the great Casey Stengel at that time, and Casey Stengel was impressed with Wakefield, and in return the St. Louis Cardinals got pitcher Roger Craig. So this is how Roger Craig became a St. Louis Cardinal, which would ultimately help push them to the '64 World Series title. So in 1964, not pitching a game above AAA at this point, Bill was not expecting to make the Major League club. Unfortunately, an injury to a pitcher in spring training opened a roster spot up, and Bill Wakefield, on April 18, 1964, at just 22 years old, Bill Wakefield made his Major League debut. At the time, it was unheard of, but Bill Wakefield, as a rookie, appeared in 62 games for the New York Mets his rookie season in 1964. He started just 4 of those games, and he got roughed up in those 4 games, and the Mets decided to delegate him to the bullpen, and he posted a 3-5 record with just a 3.61 ERA in those 62 outings. Bill Wakefield's record of 62 appearances would be a New York Mets record until the late 1970s, when that record was changed. Well, coming off a superb rookie season, one would think there's a spot for this guy on this team somewhere. Well, that wasn't the case. Casey Stengel passed over the managing reins to Yogi Berra. And Yogi Berra brought in some proven veteran pitchers in Warren Spahn. Towards the end of Warren Spahn's career, he pitched for the Mets, and Yankee killer himself, Frank Larry. So Frank, Larry, and Warren Spahn needed roster spots, and the young Wakefield at just 23 years old, 24 at this time, going into the 65 season, was basically the odd man out. The Mets decided to send him down to AAA, even though he probably didn't deserve to be sent to AAA, despite his numbers the previous season, and that's when the wheels kind of fell off. Well, to say the least, he posted a very poor record for the Mets AAA affiliate. By July of that year, the Mets decided to let him go, and the Chicago Cubs picked him up. Well, the Chicago Cubs also did not bring him up to the majors, and his overall record in 1965 between the Mets and the Cubs AAA affiliate was 2 wins and 13 losses, with a 5.44 ERA. After the 1965 season, the poor season that they had, the Mets re-signed him and they assigned him to their AA affiliate. He had an exceptional season at AA, and he was going to get promoted to AAA. However, he did not want the promotion to AAA because he enjoyed Williamsport, the AA affiliate at the time of the Mets, so much that he just said, I'd rather finish the season in Williamsport playing under historic manager Bill Verdon instead of being promoted to AAA. Well, as you can understand, Mr. Wakefield was continuing his pursuits in his academics at Stanford. He also got married during that 1964 off season. So he decided to relocate to the San Francisco area and go into business in 1966 with his father-in-law as a food supplier. So instead of playing professional baseball, he used his education at Stanford University to start a business with his father-in-law, of all people, and they maintained this food distributor until 1975, until they sold it to another competitor. Well, after he started this business and sold it to their competitor, he actually started a career working for Mattel, of all places. So the toy manufacturer of course, Barbie, everybody knows that, slip and slide frisbees, and among other products, Bill was in charge of offshore buyings for Mattel Inc. So this is a unique story of an individual that saw baseball as more or less kind of like a job and not a career, because he chose to go the academic route, again coming from a family, a doctor in his family. His father was a doctor, and he decided that he could make more money starting a business himself, and then of course going on to work for Mattel many years later. Well, during his time also working at Mattel, he also worked with his former manager Bill Verdon as well, doing some baseball camps in Missouri with Bill Verdon. Also, again, he was from Kansas City, so that connection was there as well. So kind of a neat career for Bill Wakefield. I mean, this individual probably had one of the best seasons as a relief pitcher could ever have, appearing in 62 games for the New York Mets. And he had his struggles after that season. The magic wasn't there. And then he went on to have an illustrious career elsewhere. So I want to talk about an individual that played one season. In my next return, this is what I was talking about earlier in the video, that had a very brief baseball career, but also contributed in another way in his other profession. And how brief of a career did Larry Colton have? Well, I got Larry Colton to return 4 of 4 on 2 different rookie cards, a 68 and 69 tops, as you can see. Larry Colton played 1 game in the major leagues. That's it. So an individual that played 1 total game of Major League Baseball has 2 rookie cards that are Major League Baseball cards. So let me tell you about Larry Colton and his short baseball career, but also what he did after his baseball career. Larry Colton attended high school in Los Angeles, California, and he signed as a pitcher with the Philadelphia Phillies as an undrafted free agent in 1964 after playing briefly at the University of California. While at the University of California, Colton set a record that still stands to this day of a single game strikeout record of 19. Colton would start his professional career at 23 years old in Eugene, Oregon, the Class A affiliate of the Phillies at the time, where he would post a 12-10 record in 26 games started for the Phillies, single A affiliate that year. In 1966, he would move up to Double A, posting an 11-8 record in 27 games, posting a 3.77 ERA. And in the following year, he would spend the majority of the season in Triple A, posting a 500 record with 16 wins and 16 losses in 39 games, 37 starts with a 2.91 ERA. In 1968, he would start the season with the Phillies AAA affiliate. He would post a solid record until he got his call up to the major leagues on May 6th, 1968. In this one outing, he would pitch in 2 innings, giving up 3 hits, surrendering 1 run, and that would be, unfortunately, the last time that Larry would pitch in the major leagues. He would have a shoulder issue that he developed that season. He would wind up finishing the year with just 15 starts for their AAA affiliate and that 1 game in the majors. Well, despite the shoulder issue, he did come back the following year. He posted some solid numbers with 26 games in AAA, but the Phillies did not promote him to the majors. In 1970, he would go sign with the Chicago Cubs. However, despite appearing in 32 games for the Cubs AAA affiliate, he would not have an opportunity to get to the major leagues again. So, coming to the conclusion that Larry would never pitch in the major leagues again because of his injuries, Larry decided to turn his career to writing. Larry would publish hundreds of magazine articles for publications including Esquire magazine, the New York Times, Sports Illustrated, and even the Ladies' Home Journal. Larry would also write a book on the 1977 NBA championship Portland Trail Blazers, his first book called Idle Time. He would continue to write another book called Goat Brothers, Counting Co-op, No Ordinary Joes, Southern League, a book about the 1964 Birmingham Barons and the Civil Rights Movement, and he would go on to win writing awards and became the recipient of the 2013 Stuart H. Holbrook Literary Legacy Oregon Book Award for the Oregon Literary Arts. So, Larry Colton had an even shorter career than Bill Wakefield did in the major leagues. 1 single game. And despite trying to make the comeback, battling through those injuries and going through the bus leagues, he never got that shot to play in the major leagues again. But he made lemonade out of lemons and used his talents as a writer to share his love of sports and other subjects as well in his writing to the masses, and became a very renowned published author. So if you get a chance, definitely look up his books. You can probably find them pretty cheap out there. I'm very happy to get these 4 back because, again, both of these individuals are still around. Don Money, was a longtime major leaguer, a great signer through the mail. Dick Tonin, unfortunately, didn't play as long as Don Money did. He actually had a short career as well. So hopefully you'll be seeing these back in the mail here really soon, and we'll move on to the next one. All right, this final one is a return from California, and his former Dodgers prospect, Dick Nin, on 1, 2, 3, and 4, where he finishes up his career as a Cub. So let me tell you about Dick Nin and his career in baseball. So Dick Nin, a left-handed hitting first baseman pitcher, played his high school baseball in California and also played at Los Angeles Harbor College as well as California State Long Beach. He signed as a undrafted amateur free agent in 1961 with the Los Angeles Dodgers, his hometown team. The Dodgers in 1961 assigned him to their Class C affiliate, where he immediately made a huge impact, batting .351 and hitting 32 home runs his first year in professional baseball in the Dodgers Class C affiliate. With those numbers posted, The following year, in 1962, the Dodgers assigned him to their AAA affiliate, and unfortunately some injuries slowed him down, where he only appeared in 72 games that year in 1962, but he did post a respectable .268 batting average. Well, in 1963, he was ready and healthy and came back and appeared in 158 games for the Dodgers AAA affiliate, where he posted a .288 batting average and 9 home runs that season, which earned him a September call-up on September 18th, 1963. In his major league debut on September 18th, he was inserted to the lineup as a pinch hitter in the top of the 7th inning against none other than Cardinals Hall of Famer Bob Gibson at Busch Stadium. In his first at-bat, he lined out to center field, and that was that, his very first at-bat. He remained in the game as the first baseman, and in the 9th inning, the Dodgers were trailing 5-4. At this point, Ron Taylor had come in for the Cardinals, and Nen hit a game-tying home run in right field to send the game into extra innings. So, in his second at-bat in the major leagues, Dick Nen went deep. In his first at-bat, he lined out against Hall of Famer Bob Gibson. The Dodgers wound up winning that game to sweep the Cardinals in that 3-game series, increasing their lead to 4 games, which eventually would help them win the pennant in 1963. Unfortunately, that home run against the Cardinals was Nen's only hit as a Dodger. In 1964, the Dodgers decided to send him back to AAA, where he would spend the entire 1964 season appearing in 142 games, hitting 18 home runs and posting a .280 batting average. Well, after the conclusion of the 1964 season, Dick Nen became the player to be named later, like Crash Davis. Dick Nen was sent in the deal that sent Frank Howard to the Washington Nationals in return for pitcher Claude Osteen, who became a longtime Los Angeles Dodger. So Nen, along with Frank Howard and Ken McMullen and a couple other players, were sent to Washington in return for John Kennedy, Claude Osteen, and cash. Well, with the Senators, this actually opened an opportunity for him. He started the year in AAA for the Senators, appearing in 82 games, posted some pretty solid numbers, hitting 17 home runs in AAA, and the Senators decided to call him up, where he finished the year appearing in 69 games, posting a .260 batting average and hitting 6 home runs. The following year, in 1966, he would be used as kind of a platoon-type player, and he would appear in 94 games for the Senators, but his average would dip down to just .213 that season. 1967, he would have 110 games that he played for the Senators, and his batting average still would just be around the .218 mark, and his home run production also was just 6 that season in 1967. Well, the Chicago Cubs decided they needed a new first baseman, and they purchased Dick Nen from the Washington Senators for cash right before the beginning of the 1968 season. Well, in 1968, he would spend approximately half the season playing in 81 games for the Cubs that year, and he would post just a .181 batting average and only hit 2 home runs in his time in Wrigley. The Cubs decided to let him go from his contract after that season, and he would re-sign with Washington and be assigned to their AAA affiliate. He would spend the next season, 1969 and 1970, primarily in AAA for the Washington affiliate. However, in 1970, they would call him up for 6 more games, which would be his final time in the major leagues. He would continue to stay with Washington and would actually make the move with them in 1972 to Texas when they became the Rangers. However, after appearing in 51 games as a Texas Ranger, he would hang up the cleats at 32 years old. In total, Dick Nen had a lifetime .224 batting average, cracked 21 home runs, and had 185 hits and 826 at-bats. One thing that is very notable about Dick Nen, that unfortunately he did not get a chance to play for the Texas Rangers in their major league affiliate. His son, Rob Nin, would eventually get drafted by the Texas Rangers, and he would go on to become a Texas Ranger briefly in his career and go on to have a 10-year major league career in the major leagues as one of the best closers, that the Giants had, actually, for that time period. So I want to thank Mr. Nin for signing my cards. I also want to thank Mr. Larry Colton for signing all 4 of those rookie cards for me. Obviously, one's a rookie and the other 2 aren't. And I also want to thank Mr. Wakefield for signing all of his cards as well. As you can see, I really like collecting the multi-rookie cards here. Unfortunately, Nick Willett is no longer with us, so I won't be able to complete that card. But hopefully I'll be able to complete the card with Bill Wakefield and the cards with Larry Colton on them. So stay tuned for a future episode. I look forward to your comments below, and I really hope you enjoyed the story of all 3 of these people and their contributions to baseball. Happy collecting.